Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Lauraby, or Maddie, and this is chapter 2 of #Murder Trending by Gretchen McNeil. Dee stood frozen, mirror in hand, staring down at the body of Prince Slayer. What the hell had she just done? For every single one of the postman's killers would be after her now. Not just for sport, but for revenge. Maybe 2 or 3 of them would capture her at once. She'd be skewered by one of Robin Hood's arrows while Gassiel asphyxiated her with hydrogen cyanide. She heard a noise, the soft patter of footsteps, as if someone was moving through one of the corridors. What if the rest of the postman's killers were in the warehouse with her right now? As if in answer, the power suddenly switched on, flooding the dingy space with an aggressive amount of artificial light. Dee blinked and spun around, searching for an escape route as she expected half a dozen maniacs to assault her all at once. Instead, a lengthy guy about her age with carefully tousled blonde hair and more teeth than one person's mouth should be able to accommodate, entered the room the same way Slayer had come. "Well, I'd say you just became the most notorious girl in the entire bloody world," he said in a crisp British accent. "Stay away from me," Dee cried, holding the mirror in front of her like a shield. Or I'll kill you too." The Brit paused, and his unnaturally blue eyes scanned her from head to toe. Then he gestured to one corner of the room. "Don't worry, they've stopped filming." Dee's eyes drifted up to the cameras. The red lights had all gone dark. "Oh, was that a good thing? Not a good thing? Damn it, why hadn't she paid more attention to the stupid app?" "And you didn't exactly kill him, now did you?" he continued as if scolding her. "I mean, he fell on his sword, so to speak." Dee's grip on the mirror tightened. He'd been watching. Holy shit. Was this the postman himself? The Brit nodded at Slayer's body. "I'm not one of them, if that's what you're worried about." He smiled, inviting her trust, but Dee hesitated. Point in his favor, there was no way this guy was old enough to be a successful Hollywood producer like the postman was rumored to be. Point against, dude was literally hanging around waiting to watch Dee get murdered. And since she had survived, maybe he was there to finish the job. Either way, his appearance in the warehouse wasn't exactly trust-inducing. She needed to stay on her guard. "Who are you?" Instead of answering, Blondie McBrit crouched beside Prince Slayer's body, surveying the corpse. "Brilliant. I haven't seen anything like this since Nancy Wu round-kicked the caped chap punchin' into a broken neck." Roundhouse kicked the caped cap punchin' into a broken neck. He whistled low. "When the postman finds out, it'll do his nut." "Is that good?" His carefree attitude was disalarming. He smiled knowingly. "All the Paniacs will be after you." "Shit." He arched an eyebrow. "What do you think?" about him, about the fact that by some bizarre turn of fate, she was still alive, about the 10 other serial killers who were about to be unleashed on her. He pushed himself to his feet and stepped closer, skillfully maneuvering around Slayer's coagulating blood. "Paniacs," he repeated. "It's a portmanteau of my own invention. Pain plus maniacs. What do you think?" No. "Do you think it will catch on? Or should I get more of a Postman reference in there, like Postmaniacs? Except I'm using Postmaniacs for the fans. So that might be confusing." "Oh, Postmantics for the fans. So that might be confusing." His face dropped, disappointed at Dee's lack of approval. "It's a work in progress. Was he for real? There's a dead guy in a pool of his own blood 2 feet away, and you're worried about your hashtag?" Blondie McBrit sighed. "Sorry, I forgot. This is all new for you. Personally, I arbor violence, but after a while you get callous." "A while? How long have you been here?" 7 months, 1 week, 3 days, he said without hesitation. Dee's eyes grew wide. She had never heard of anyone surviving that long on Alcatraz 2.0. "Don't be impressed," he said, reading her reaction. "My case is an appeal, so I'm off limits for the moment. That miscarriage of justice you Americans call a trial was over so quickly they didn't get a chance to find out to whom I'm related." Dee arched an eyebrow. "The Queen?" Blondie McBrit snorted. "Look at you. The Queen?" he mocked. He mocked in falsetto. "Certainly not. But my mother's cousin's first husband is the second assistant to the foreign minister. He filed an appeal on my behalf due to diplomatic immunity." "Oh, it was a plausible story, but he could also be full of shit, and this is just another trap on Alcatraz 2.0. I'm not taking any chances. Actually," Blondie McBrit continued, "I'm surprised he's helping me at all, based on my conviction." Dee took a step away, eyeing Slayer's body. If this guy lunged at her, maybe she could flip it over, pull the knife out of Slayer's gut, and use it to defend herself. "What did you do?" His face was unreadable. "I was convicted of murdering my parents." "See? Don't trust anyone on this island." It was a good mantra. Dee was in a maximum security prison, so in addition to the postman's government-sanctioned killers, all her fellow inmates had committed heinous crimes. She was literally surrounded by murderers. "I loved my parents." His blue eyes narrowed. His affable manner vanished. "As much as you loved your sister, was it?" "Stepsister," Dee snapped. And then she paused. "How did you know that?" Blondie McBrit stepped between Dee and Slayer's body, reached into his pocket. Dee stiffened, her eyes darting towards the far corridor. Was he going to pull out a weapon? She couldn't reach Slayer's knife now, but maybe if she chucked the mirror at Blondie's face, she'd have time to run for her life. But instead of a murderous glint of a recently sharpened blade, Dee saw a folded piece of paper in his hand. D. Guerrero, he said, reading from the page. Convicted of premeditated murder in the first degree. Victim, Monica Patterson, 17, stepsister. The image of Monica's strangled face, purple and swollen, flashed before Dee's eyes. She had been the one to find the body, the one to call 911 as she desperately tried to administer first aid, even though she knew by the stiffness of her limbs that Monica was beyond help. I didn't kill her. She had no idea why she felt the need to proclaim her innocence to the stranger, but the words just came flying out of her mouth before she could stop them. Of course you didn't. We're all innocent on Alcatraz 2.0. Sarcasm dripped from every word. Oh. Of course you didn't. We're all innocent on Alcatraz 2.0. The sarcasm dripped from every word. He didn't believe her for a hot second. But instead of saying he thought she was full of shit, he shoved his hands back into the pockets of his black corduroy jacket. Shall we go? Dee glanced from the Brit to Slayer's body. Was this a trap? I'm not going anywhere with you. He tilted his head to the side, just as Slayer had when Dee had refused to run into the maze. Why ever not? His earnest threw Dee off. I think you might be a psychotic killer. I don't trust you no matter how cute your accent is. I don't even know who you are. Oh, he smiled, his eyes warm and crinkly. Sorry, I'm Niles. He paused, as if that was enough explanation. It wasn't. And you're here right now because my Alcatraz mandated job is to introduce new inmates to life on the island. I get a note like this one, he said, dangling the refolded paper in the air. Shoved under my door in the morning, telling me where to meet the newbies, although it's usually just at the gate to the guard station. This is the first time I was instructed to go to a Paniac's kill room. Must have been an administrative mistake or something. I mean, why would you need an orientation if you weren't going to survive your first hour on the island? Anyway, I almost didn't show. Can you believe it? He chuckled as if he'd made a hilarious joke. Yeah, she said, her voice flat. Funny. I would have missed the death of Prince Slayer, Niles continued, either not picking up on her sarcasm or ignoring it. That would have been a tragedy. Dee. By the by, is that short for Dorothy? Deere? What were they? Best friends? No. Ah, I see. Niles gazed at her for a moment, then shrugged. Come along, then. Dee still didn't trust him. If she followed him, would she round a corner and run directly into a Cinderella-themed booby trap of sentient rodents, pumpkin time bombs, and projectile glass shards? Then again, her other options were to find her own way out of the murderous maze or stay with Slayer's body until someone else got to her. Neither was particularly tempting. Where are we going? Niall's smile widened, flashing his oversized teeth. Fancy an ice cream? Ooh, okay. We have social media posts now. Regina Showalter. Are you kidding me with this bullshit? There is no way Prince Slayer's dead. He's going to stand up and stab her through the solar plexus, right? He can't let that sister-killing skank get away. I can't even with this. Benny Nada Jets. I knew Slayer's refusal to use restraints would eventually backfire on him. He's consistently underestimated his female victims. Hashtag misogyny kills. Regina Showalter. Did you just take credit for his death? Hashtag douchebag patrol. Hashtag I can't even with this. And then Betty replies to that with, I knew Slayer's... Oh no, it's a reply to, I knew Slayer's refusal to use restraints would backfire on him. My bad, I got those mixed up. So Regina replied to Benny. Armarella Rencon. Haha. At Elton John Forevers, which is Benny. You know more about helpless tied up chicks than anyone. Only way you get them to date you. And then Benny replies to that with, check your hetero privilege, friend. Iconic. Regina says, we should be more concerned with the fact that a convicted killer just got away with murder. Again. Hashtag justice will be served. The Griff. You people are blind. Slayer versus Amir. This is a conspiracy. It's all fake. And then Armarillo replies underneath the Griff with, maybe you're blind and dumb, but he spells it D-U-M. And so Armarillo responds with, or maybe that chick in the Cinderella dresses. Damn. And then Benny replies to both of them and goes, your bickering is amusing, but you missed the point. Prince Slayer is dead and Cinderella, she's a survivor. Hashtag Cinderella survivor. And that's the end of chapter 2. Thanks for coming and listening. Bye-bye.